Hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it to. I'm Bushka on Blitz, and gee, it's been a hectic 24 hours. I was stupid enough to review a tank called the 047, which a lot of people thought was a blight upon humanity, and I've since been named the Great Satan. But before everyone could get too upset with me, Wargaming like a good bro did me a solid and did one of the most incredible things that we've ever had in the history of Blitz. They randomly gave a bunch of people a tier 10 premium tank, just completely out of the blue, with no explanation, nothing on the portals. Some people logged in and they had a tier 10 premium tank called the M60, which had an enormous Cyclops-like eye over its gun barrel. And the response from the player base was tremendous. People don't know how it was given or why it was given, so people that didn't get it are understandably a little bit miffed. The forums burnt down. The last thing I saw on the Singaporean news was a bloke in a firefighting outfit with his head in his hands, just crying, saying, "Where's my M60?" So hats off Wargaming. Everyone forgot that I was the Great Satan as soon as you gave up the love with the M60. Now apparently that is a reward tank, and it's going to be a reward tank for evermore. So there will be more of them given out over the course of, I don't know how long the time will be, but don't worry, there will be more M60s available somewhere down the track. What else? Well, it's been horrible on the Asia server of late. It really has. The ping has been absolutely horrific. You can see here I'm running 250 ping on cable. It's been jumpy, it's been rubbish, and it's been such that playing really light tanks and medium tanks has been really difficult. If you're in Australia and you're playing versus someone who is in Singapore, you are literally giving them a 230 ping head start, which is an awfully big head start. But I digress. This is the Van Helsing. Now, why am I driving the Van Helsing? Well, I'll be honest with you. I'll level with you. It's a bit of a mea culpa. When I drove the Van Helsing the first few times, about the first 30 games, I did a couple of streams with Snake. I ran it, and it sucked. And I thought it would be better, and it really wasn't. And I think the reason was I just had really, really bad RNG. And I said that it was just kind of a met tank, like it was good, but it wasn't overpowered. I revised that decision because I've gone from having like a win rate of 60% in the thing with a average damage of like, I don't know, 1400, which was horrific for what I was expecting, to having a win rate of, I don't know, 72, 73% in it with an average damage of 1850 or something like that. So I've really picked up the slack over the last wee while. And this is one of the things about reviewing tanks. I can only give you my honest opinion. When I see a tank, I don't really care about the look of the thing. What I care about is how it performs. And if it performs badly for me, then I've got to grade it that way. It's kind of odd, but people get all freaked out when I don't agree with them. But, one man's experience is one man's experience. I can't make it up. This thing is probably the most in need of a nerf tank in the game at the present, but it won't get nerfed, I don't believe. Mainly because it was so difficult to get. You guys will remember just how tough it was to get the Drac and the Van Helsing at Halloween. It was really, really tough. And for a long time, I was a bit disappointed that I'd ended up with the Van Helsing because, I wasn't really expecting it to be... I was expecting it to be a good tank, but it just really hadn't fulfilled the role for me. And it's certainly done that now. It's stepped up to the plate for me, and it's winning at a tremendous rate. And you can see here, I'm in a tier 9 game with it. The real secret, I think, to this tank that I took away, and a few people on the forums told me this, I think it was, I can't remember, it was on the NA forums anyway. You can't really treat it like a TD, but even worse, it's not like a T30 that you say, well, that's a heavy tank. It's It's still a TD, but it's an assault gun. You've got to use this crazy upper glacis. And that's the thing that's really overpowered about it, in my opinion. It's all well and good having a great gun that does a whole lot of damage, but the fact that you can bounce shots is just obscene, and the quality of the armor profile is tremendous. And because it's a premium tank, you can afford to fire a little bit of APCR at those IS-3 defenders and such, which are really the big issues that you're going to have. IS-3 defenders and the like are tough nuts to crack. And the reason I've really had this, I suppose, this come to Jesus moment with the Van Helsing is because the ping's been so bad and it's been so difficult to play with any degree of certainty on the Asia server. I've had to resort to tanks that you don't really need to have super low ping to do well with. And the Helsing is definitely one of those. If you drive it like a bit of an assault cannon, it's pretty quick anyway. It's got fairly trollish armor, so you're going to get a few bounces and things like that, which will mean you are alright. And you can see here, that's the upper glacis that it bounced off at the front. Very lucky there. We are still 2 on 4, but we've managed to bring it back and back to 2 on 2. And you're just firing the APCR, you're hoping that you're going to get a little bit of love into this IS-3 defender, and we do. And we've now just got to nut this one last little machine, which is the IS, who's somewhere over here on the right hand side. It's not a tier 9 game, however. Did I say it was a tier 9 game? My mistake. I've got a couple of games for you in the 047 coming up. Now, you guys need to understand, I know a lot of you do not like the whole thing with regard to anime tanks or fantasy tanks or anything like that, and I get that. That's a valid point. I've talked to a lot of the patrons. There's a lot of guys there who drove tanks for a living and who don't have any care for fantasy tanks at all or anime tanks. And there's a lot of guys like that in Grump. I mean, Ouija was devastated that they were bringing that thing into the game. I don't care so much. The reason being that I play this game for particularly different... I've got a different motivation. And there you go, there's a mastery game in the Van Helsing. It's a lovely tank. 3,000 damage, 1,328 XP, all well and good. Here's the 047. And you're going to see I'm learning how to play on a Mac. I'm not very good at it. So this is one of the reasons I've not done this tank much justice at all, because I've been struggling to learn how to play on this Mac. And I'm getting better at it, but the thing I like about it is the quality of the footage. I mean, look at the quality of the video there. Look at the over-angling that's happening here as I try and get backwards and forwards and blow shots. It's like watching your hand and it's doing something different. It won't do as you tell it. I come from a gaming background, first-person shooter background, and an RPG background. I've played a lot of Worlds of Warcraft, a lot of Counter-Strike, Quake, way back in the day. Like, I've got a very long and storied history. I ran clans when Half-Life first came out. I was on halflife.net contributing articles and things. And I've been around for a long time. And the thing that intrigues me about Blitz is not the World War II factor. It's not the realism of the tanks. The thing that intrigues me about this game is the fact that it's a first-person shooter on a mobile, which for starters is pretty impressive, that has solid graphics and also has a lot of strategy in it. It's not like Counter-Strike and all these other games, which are very much, running around just bashing and boshing. You've got to look at the angles I'm putting on this tank here. I mean, it's really interesting, and there's using the rest of the team and armor profiles and gun depression and penetration numbers. And spaced armor and different types of ammunition and shell velocities and tanks that have poor module damage profiles and stock tanks and tanks that need to be ground up and tanks that don't work until you get the top engine. And that's why I like this game. I like this game for the nuance, and I like it for the first person shooter that it is, and I like it for gameplay. I'm a big gameplay fan. Like, Frogger is still a good game for me because the gameplay works. So I understand that there is a valid point that there is definitely people out there who play this game for other reasons than me. And looking at the comments exploding on the 047 thread was for me not a surprise. I've got to be honest with you. It's not a surprise because I've dealt with it before and it's valid, but I just don't agree with it. It's not something that I agree with. And if that's something that doesn't float your boat, that I can have a different opinion to you and not be a complete asshole, excuse the language, then I don't know that we've got a lot more to say to each other. But anyway, I digress. So I'm going to show you a game here now in the 047 on one of my least favourite maps in the world. This is the NASCAR track that is Copperfield. It is a tier 9 game, and they've got an M46 pattern over there who is pushing up on the top of the hill there, and I'm using this little bit of brush here for some soft cover, resetting the camo now, just dropping on back. You can see that I'm learning to play on the Mac, and you're going to have there's a couple of very average moments here. The biggest issue I have on it is when it gets in really tight situations, I panic. And I can't get the auto aim to work correctly, and it all gets a bit much, but I kind of hold it together here. The other thing that I find interesting is look at the way I'm angling. When I drive on the Mac, I constantly, like when I reverse and I want to reverse to my right, I'll accidentally reverse and reverse to my left, and it will show tanks the wrong side. Like when I'm trying to angle my frontal plate, you can see there, I'm trying to angle my frontal plate at times, and I keep going the wrong way with my butt, and it's not good. So there we go. We knock one. We get our second shot of justice into the Indian. Now things are going pretty poorly for us up the top. The guys at the top have dropped the bundle and got absolutely flogged. We've got 4 guys down here. They had 3 up the top, and 2 of those guys are now down. Now I try and get the Indian's tracks, and I drop the adrenaline there, but he repairs and actually buggers off, and I just miss him and misses T69 who's behind him. So I set up for another shot on the 69. Now the 69 is an auto loader, and I've done a review on it. I know all its stats, I know its reload time, I know exactly what it's all about, and what I want to do is watch the T69 and figure out if he has done his clip. So I'm going to keep an eye on him. There's a scent down the bottom there. There is a one-shot Indian. Now there's 1 out of the T69. I'm willing to see 2. I'll have a crack. And if he's got another one coming, there he goes. That's it. So I now know I've got about 16 seconds to actually get into him, and I am. Now there's the auto aim locked on, and the auto aim is fantastic when you're in situations like this, and it just really works well. Now I'm going to try and hit the Indian here, and you can see I completely screw it, and then I'm backwards and forwards, panicking, and we get him and move forward again. Disengage the auto aim, hit the Centurion in front of us, auto aim up on him, and we're rolling. Getting a nice angle and the bounce there. Now the 047 has very, very strong side armor. You can bounce. I wanted to look at me. This is what I'm talking about. I am turning my track the wrong way, so I just decide just to sit still and take the hit and get this guy killed. There we go, fantastic. So we're actually on a Kolobanov here if we can pull it off. We've got an E75 and a Centurion left. Now we get another one into the scent. Now I'm also firing heat. One of the reasons I'm firing heat is that I literally freak out every time I've got to do the ammo loadout and change ammo loadouts on here. And I frequently find that I'm firing high explosive when I'm meant to be firing AP, which is a bad thing. So what I'm going to do here is get as far away from the E75 as I possibly can, reset camo, try and get a shot of him pushing around that corner, because I've got nearly 3 minutes left, and actually get him at range where I'm unspotted behind a bush. And that's my plan. Now the 047, you'll see on top of the turret there's like a little visor in front of the hatch. People shoot at that thinking that it's going to pen, and you've got to shoot right at the base of it to pen. The wings are also a hit zone, which is not good. And your gunman, while it's very, very strong, is only part of your frontal armor profile. If you don't have a really, really steep angle on your upper plate, you're going to get penned there anyway. And tier 9 tanks like the E75 will pen you all day long. No problems at all. It's a reasonable tank. It's a fun tank. But I've absolutely flogged the win rate in it because I basically cannot drive well on a Mac yet. I'm about 75% of where I will be hopefully by the end of it when I drive with an iPad. So we're going to move and cruise around here and have a look and see if we can't find ourselves a little bit of love. Now he's in the cap, so I'm pretty comfortable with where he is. I just love the look of, by the way, of playing on a Mac, and that's one of the reasons I want to do it, because look at the definition, 60 frames per second, nice full screen. It's just lovely. Now, I'm not sure where in the cap he is, but I can't get a shot from that first bush on the right. I'm going to look at this bush on the left and see if I can spot anything up down there, but again, no luck. And so now I've got to get a little bit active. And my first clue that he might be a stock tank is when I come down here and I'm not spotted, because I'm at 150 meters, so I'm thinking straight away this guy has absolutely terrible crew skills. He's got a commander and everything who is obviously stock, and his view range is very, very low. The reason I like that is because it means that his rotation speed is probably going to be very, very low as well. He's still red as all get out, even with 260 millimeters of heat pen at the front. When he's angled like that, not much he can do. We're going to take one here, and although his rotation is very, very slow, I've only got 225 alpha, and I cannot stick around there and take the chance that he is going to hit me again. So what I'm going to do is drive really, really quickly around here, because I only have 18 seconds left, and hit him before he can get a full traverse done. And there we go. That's my first Kolobinov in the 047. And in fact, it's my first mastery in the 047. Just over 3k damage, top gun, and 29,000 credits. It does earn pretty well. If you don't fire a heap of heat like I did there, you'll earn all right. And hopefully, as I get a little bit better with the MacBook, playing on a Mac, the quality of the videos will get even better, and I'll actually stop playing like a dopey bugger. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I know it's been hectic over the past couple of days. I don't have anything more to say about the M60 fiasco. I don't know anything about it. I'm sorry. I wish I did. I wish I could help you. I wish everyone got a free tank. I just don't understand how they were given out either. Have a good season, Christmas, holiday season, whatever you're doing, New Year's, all kinds of things. Don't let it get to your head. It's just a game, guys. Look after yourselves, and most of all, look after your families, and stay safe on the battlefield.